Tunnel vision means that we have to power steer Local 100 with discipline in the direction that we need to move it in order to get to the goal line in December of 2005. We need greater staff capacity next year than what we have today. We need greater cohesion for next year than what we currently have today. We need much greater membership participation next year than what we have today. When we do our next general membership meeting in December, maybe in December of 2005, right? We ought to not to be able to fit inside of Jacob Javits. And then you will know that we're ready to do battle. So I want to lay out 3 phases that will get us through to next December. We say this, we are 1 year out from December of 05. The conversation, the focus, the challenge changes from month to month. And it falls into 3 basic categories. Right now, for this winter and spring, the main focus is how to build our strength and build our fights and take on the MTA and the other employers. How to pick our battles and build unity among our members in the course of doing battle with the MTA and the other employers. That's the principal focus right now. For those of you who are in the MTA, around the summertime the focus shifts. Approaching the summer, the focus becomes not that you stop the fight, but the focus shifts to how to prepare your contract demands and priorities. And then in the fall, going into the next winter, the focus shifts again. And that focus becomes assessing our state of battle readiness to go up against the MTA. And I say this because it is very important in maintaining tunnel vision that we maintain a clear sense of what the task before us is over the next few months compared to the summer, compared to the fall of next year. Otherwise, if we spend our time here now trying to figure out whether the right thing is 4% increase or 6% increase next December, we'll be wasting valuable time, we'll be squandering precious time that we need to be spending on developing a fight in here and now. Edward Darlene outlined the various battlefronts. The battlefronts are defined, we need to focus on how to develop a fight on these battlefronts. The battlefronts are clear. Number 1, and again, we did not choose it this way, right? No one in their right mind, like Ed says, would pick multiple battlefronts at the same time. Any general will tell you, pick the weakest point of the enemy and concentrate the greatest forces at the weakest point of the enemy, create a bridgehead and get through his defenses, right? Here we faced with a tremendous challenge of 4 battlefronts simultaneously. Number 1, the private bus lines takeover. Our members there have been put through 1.5 to 2 years of excruciating anxiety because of the uncertainty of their futures. 3 extensions with respect to the 3 extensions of the operating assistance agreements, 3 6-month extensions, and nobody is sure as to where they're going to be working in 6 months or in a year, what their pension is going to look like, what their health benefits are going to look like, and so forth. This is a critical battlefront for us. The MTA have issued their schedule, the city has issued a schedule from January to April of bringing these companies over. We're going to make sure that our members achieve a soft landing and that their health benefits, their pensions, and their working conditions are protected in the course of that transfer. How complex context that is, because you're not only dealing with 347 Madison and the crooks down there that we know very well at the MTA. You're dealing with Bloomberg, Pataki got his nose in it. You're dealing with the city council. You're dealing with multiple players who may not be in the same room when you're negotiating. Second, the booth closings. The booth closings and the fare increases, the booth closings, is a very important fight for us, because the MTA is trying to transform the subway environment into a gated environment with no personnel around. It's very important also because the public is strongly motivated against the closing of these token booths. And we have therefore powerful and strong natural allies among the public. Yes. Major front. Thirdly, computer-based train control and up-to. The reason why we had that blitz that Edward referred to last week, this past Wednesday, is because we recognized that it was important to elevate, in terms of people's radar screens, what the Transit Authority was planning with respect to the implementation of robot trains and taking conductors off the trains, because it has not received the type of elevated attention like the closing of the token booths and the fare increases, and we needed to dramatize that. This is a critical front for us. The fourth front, is the cuts in bus service. They generally plan beginning with reducing peak bus service during the off-peak hours, to phase in a whole different bus schedule over the next several years. That will result in much longer waits for riders, much more crowded buses for our drivers, and a much more rigorous schedule for us to maintain. And they're going to drive us over the next several years in this area. This is a major front for us inside of Local 100, and those are our four fronts. No matter what happens, December 16th at the MTA board hearing in which they intend to adopt their budget, our cock struggle continues beyond December 16th. And we are planning and preparing for a long, drawn-out, complicated struggle at many different levels with the MTA. Not only in the courts and on the shop floors and in the depots, but in the media and in the press and on the streets and the neighborhoods and so on and so forth. In fact, we just sent to help create the type of knowledge base that we need for this. We just sent a delegation to Germany. They just returned yesterday, as a matter of fact, or Thursday, to study computer-based train control, automated train technology over in Germany. This was an international conference where we learned quite a lot. I'll tell you this, we sent a big delegation, and who do you think was next to them? Mike Lombardi from the MTA and his other crooks. They too sent a delegation. We're going to make sure that we show up at the scenes of the crime, not just them. Right? Even if we have to chase them around the world or to the next planet. The next item is training. We have private bus lines contracts expiring on 6 properties, and they're going into negotiations as early as February. We have negotiations for those, we are training for those officers before this month is out. It's already scheduled. In February, we have officers training for the contract in 2005 at the MTA. We have another shop stewards class starting in a couple weeks, and we have advanced training for stewards will be taking place simultaneously. Then there are the events coming up in January, February, the early part of this year, the first half of this year, that will bring us together and will challenge our ability to turn out our members. We have Martin Luther King Day in January, followed by Black History Month and Day in February, Women's Day in March, Quill Connolly Day in March, Irish Day, Latino Days in June. We're conducting an all-transit retirees assembly in March. We're conducting a massive lobby day up in Albany in April. We're holding an all-transit women's symposium in March for women only. And we'll have training of the negotiating committees taking place also in the spring. So what I'm saying to you that there's a whole host of activities, of major planning activities at which we got to produce, look good and get the maximum benefit for, because how we come out of the gates in 2005 is going to matter a whole lot in terms of what we're able to accomplish during the course of 2005 and at the table in December with the MTA. The other thing is allies. Do not underestimate the importance of allies. It should be very clear to us by now why we need them. Never take that for granted. It needs to be a constant focus. I say this because you have some mistaken people out in the field. I've even seen some emails, and I don't ever go on the computer, but occasionally somebody bring one for me that says, why are we dealing with groups and community forces? Why aren't we just dealing with transit workers? Now imagine if we were to allow the MTA to isolate us in the public eye. It would make it that much easier for them to take us down. The MTA, for decades, have always said to the public that if we do what transit workers are asking us to do, we'll have to raise your fares, pick your pockets, and cut service and give you the dirtier trains and buses. And we need to deny transit workers their wages and their benefits in order to take care of you, John Public. That's what the MTA says, right? Everybody knows that. That means that we can't leave that territory unchallenged. We got to get in there and win that battle for the minds and support of the public. During the summer, we're going to have contract preparations. We're going to be conducting surveys and having working committees. Prior to the adoption of contract demands, we will do a couple samplings, objective samplings of our members, where we're going to say, put your priorities in order and give it back to us so we can report to our executive board in terms of the relative priorities that our members hold with respect to wages, benefits, the types of benefits, and issues that pertain to how we are treated on the job. What is the relative importance and priorities of these different areas? And that process takes place during the summer. And here what we're talking about, when we talk about contract priorities, we're talking about what is real, what is attainable, not wishful thinking, not a wish list that just becomes an opportunity to be able to say that our union was a failure because some unattainable demand we were required to achieve, some demand that clearly was not attainable, it was not in play. And we have to review those priorities at all levels, section, division, and department. By Labor Day, we should have our main teams worked out for the MTA contract fight, detailed demands, and we would have moved from a committee of 1,000 to having a committee of about 4,000 people who are trained to popularize our demands, not only on the transit properties, but around the city. We are approaching this contract fight by talking about putting together a committee of 1,000 members and activists, our most committed members, to carry this contract fight throughout all our titles, all our tours, all our divisions, all our sections. We're going to build strength now. We're going to multiply our numbers now. We're going to increase membership participation now. We're going to take the fight to the MTA and the private line employers now. Build up that momentum. Create a certain drumbeat. Watch that. See whether your section and division meetings is growing in attendance from December to March to June to the fall. See whether the turnout at the mobilizations we call are growing from the spring to the summer to the fall. Right? And use that as a true and more accurate barometer of whether we are really ready. Because one of the things that we do well as well is talk. You have folks out here who proclaim that they're ready to go on strike, but they're not even ready to come to a single union meeting. Now you tell me, what is a more reliable indicator of what somebody is ready to do? What they say they're ready to do, or what they actually do? We have to be able to decide by the fall how informed, how organized, how united our members are. We would have had a dozen battles with the MTA during the course of the year, and we'll be able to get some sense of that. We'll be able to assess how much public support does our cause have. Is the public with us? Or have they fallen for the MTA's stuff that they will be running in the course of 2005? Do we have the support of the political leaders, of elected officials? That's important for us. How isolated is the MTA? That is important to us. We better spend 2005 working on this stuff, not just talking and threatening and comparing each other's muscles and doing the male thing, right? But let's get to work so that we can be in a position to really determine how far we can go in December. And all the tough talk and militant flyers cannot substitute for real readiness. And I say this because you're going to have some people stand up and say, let's go on strike. Or if they look at us bad, we strike in tomorrow. And they take those positions simply because they need to put it on the leaflet that they wanted to go on strike and Roger was a wuss. He didn't want to go on the strike. Right? You know, we had a discussion recently at our executive board. And there was a recommendation that said, let's call a strike, or let's go out and do a mass demonstration on December 16th. And we said we're going to mobilize. We're going to go out there December 16th and mobilize our union, our members, our supporters, the political support we can get, the elected officials, the community, and we will make as much a showing as possible for December 16th. But this is important to us that if we call an action, how we look at as a union. The board, our executive board said, we don't want to, and I recommend it, you don't call an action unless you're pretty confident that you will look good, that the members will show up. You don't call a mass demonstration and have 800 people. You want to call a mass demonstration when we could rock Madison Avenue the way we rocked it in 2002. What does it mean you want to have a mass demonstration when you go outside Madison Avenue and there's two of you all can't even fit inside of a token booth, but you want to go on strike? What does that mean? You can't, you have space still inside of the phone booth with two of you all. But you want to you think that by talking fight talk that the MTA, you'll get the MTA scared because you're talking a fight talk. What does that mean? Meaning you're squandering precious time, roll up your sleeves, get to work, cut out the bullshit. I'll tell you this. My particular job as the president of the union is to make sure that we're able to deliver on the difficult challenges in 2005 with respect to our private lines, our private companies, and the MTA contract. That means that the time has run out on tolerating nonsense inside of this union. Because I'll tell you this, every division and section I go to, the members said, but you are the president, how could you allow this and that to happen? Right? Because we end up being held accountable, the leaders of your union. Me as the president, your VPs, your executive board, we are responsible. We got to power steer this massive operation to the goal line in December. Right? And we have run out of time. We have precious little time. 12 months is not an awful amount of time. So we need to get there. Keep in mind, tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. Do not squander our time and resources and attention on issues that do not get us to the goal line. Leave that for another time. Those who are planning for the next elections, do that in 2006, right? You can come out and do whatever you want then. What we need is a contract in 2005.